Brad, product specialist here at Kinze, and today we're going to walk through setting up grower, farm, field, and products on the Blue Vantage display. There's two ways to do that. One, we can do it ahead of time before we're connected to the planner, where we're physically have the tablet out of the dock sitting at the desk in the shop office, for example, using the 110 power outlet that comes with the Blue Vantage display. You can also do this when you're connected to the planner as well if you want to do multiple grower, farm, and fields consecutively in the row, or you want to add all your hybrids before the season begins. We can do that, and right now my tablet is in demo or training mode. You don't have to be in this mode to do the process of adding these through the Manage button on the home page. So from the home screen, when the tablet turns on, we have Manage in the lower center part of the screen, and it takes us to our Manage tab. You can see on the left-hand side of the screen, we have names, and then we have a product selector. In order to add our names for our grower, farm, and field, we can tap on our names button. We simply press Add for the grower or the plus sign, type in our grower name. Once we tap on our grower, we have a grower in the list. We can then press Add to add a farm to that list. So you see we had an unnamed one in there already. We see our grower of Kinze, which we just added in. If we want to add a farm to that grower, we can of course add that to the list. So we'll call it our home field, or excuse me, our home farm. We want to add a field to that farm, we can press Add. Back 40 field. Add another field to that farm, we press Add again. And now we have our grower, farm, and our two fields underneath that grower, farm, field structure. You can see the expanded arrow so you can see the list. And again, you just continue this process as you go through. If, of course, at any time you want to edit those, we, of course, have the edit button for all of those values. So that's kind of the grower, farm, field setup under Manage to set up all of those ahead of time. If we want to enter in all of our products information, and we tap on our products, this is where we can add our seed, fertilizer, and insecticide products ahead of time as well. So for example, we're selected under corn, and we're going to add a seed hybrid to this list. So if we press Add to add a name into this list, we hit our checkbox, and it then takes us to our seeds per pound enter section. And this isn't required to complete the process. We default the value to 1,700 seeds per pound by default. If you don't know the seeds per pound now, perfectly fine. You can leave it as default. You can always edit after the fact. The big reason why we use the seeds per pound is for our bulk fill scale calculation to get you a more accurate acres to empty value. Again, not required. Of course, our bulk fill scales show us both weight and acres to empty, so you can use either one for that calculation. So in my case, I don't know what that seeds per pound is. I just know what the hybrid number is. We hit our checkbox, and we, of course, have that single product on the list. We selected or added one for corn. If I press my crop selector, I then can go to soybeans and do that same process for soybeans. It's the same steps. We're going to add a soybean to the list of our product. It's going to ask us again for the same information of our seeds per pound. You'll notice, of course, the seeds per pound default is different. Again, not required. You can always change it later as well. And of course, you can see we also have seeds per unit and pounds per unit that you can enter that in if the manufacturer doesn't provide you the seeds per pound on the bag tag. You can enter those in, and we will calculate that for you as well. Kind of a handy feature that's in the variety and hybrid setup. We hit our check. We now see we've added a soybean product to our list. You can see at the top our other products, again, being in demo mode. In training mode, depending on if your planter is equipped, of course, with fertilizer or insecticide, these tabs would be up at the top of the screen. If you're utilizing fertilizer, same process, obviously a little simpler on the fertilizer side. If we wanted to add a fertilizer product, again, to our list for recording processes, we can add in, again, I just added starter as a name. We hit the checkbox. It puts us on the list. Insecticide, a little unique just because we have a lot of pre-populated products in the insecticide list. Same rules apply if you're using something other than what's on the list or you want to name it something else. You can either edit an existing one or again add one to the list as well, just like we went through with our seed and fertilizer setup. So we can do that under the Manage tab. Again, this would be doing it earlier in the season or way before we're starting to plant. I go back to the home page where we started. You can also add these on the go as you're going to the field. So again, I'm in demo and training mode. Everything is simulated that it's physically running on the planter. If I go to my plant box, it takes me to the task setup page. So this is where you can come in here under grower. Again, we set these up earlier, so here's our Kinze, here's our home farm, and our 2 fields we set up earlier. You can see we have add under each one of these columns, so you can add these on the go if you so choose as well. They don't have to be built in ahead of time. Of course, one of the unique items with Blue Vantage is you don't have to have any grower, farm, and field in here as well. So if I hit the X, takes us back, we didn't select one on the list. So again, you can tap anywhere on here and select pre-made or make one on the go. Same scenario when we look at our products tab. So we added a couple products earlier. If I come into my crop selection box, you can see my corn 2 hybrid that I entered in earlier. If I want to add a new one, same functionality where you see that Manage button in the lower left-hand corner. If I press on Manage, it takes us again to our 3 tabs in my case because everything is equipped on this demo unit. We then can add a product, same steps we saw earlier. So again, it allows you the flexibility to change, edit those crops. You can see where the seeds per pound is. So let's say we're in the field now. We know what those seeds per pound is on that hybrid we're using. We can press on the pencil icon and of course edit that seeds per pound. So I know it's still a corn 2 product. I know that it's 1900 seeds per pound. I hit the checkbox, it updates. We selected corn, accept. Now we've changed those on the list. So 2 different ways to add products, either before on the Manage tab, again, not hooked to the planter, or physically hooked to the planter like we're kind of walking through here. Allows you some flexibility and ability to edit products on the go when you're sitting in the tractor cab.